the final broadcast of the week. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin here with you for another edition of Pre-Market Prep at the close. Joel and I were just talking, and it's been a relatively quiet day. Nothing really on the news front, nothing that was different now that we didn't already know this morning. But Joel, walk us through this market. It seems like a good end to the week.
Yeah, well, we are actually at the highs of the intraday session. We hit that pre-market high of 85, I don't know, 88 and change. And then we kind of tailed off, had a rough open. We couldn't do any better, I think, than 54 off the open. And then we managed to sneak into like the top of that crazy after hours range yesterday, where we actually, the last after hours print was 29.75. Our low is 28.21. So just about 9 points beneath that. You tested that area a couple times, and now you're rebounding here. You're making new intraday highs as we speak. We got a ways to go to get to that 28.85, but nice pickup here. I would say over the last hour, we were back near the lows of the session. About an hour ago, we bought about at 23.75. Didn't make a new low there, and turn around and got a spirited rally here of nearly 30 handles. We'll see how that handles into the close. Just a bad week for crude, down 43 cents at 25.10. Did try and rally a couple times, but no can do. Bad day for gold, as we talk about when the market's good. Who needs gold? Gold down nearly $40 at 16.92. Silver taking it on the chin too, down nearly 31 cents at 15.31. And Bitcoin, it's going to try and end the week over 7,000, down $35 at 7070 in the Bitcoin futures.
All right. So Joel, as far as new developments for the market or for the economy or for the virus, the only real change that's happened today was Texas has become the first state to outline some sort of a plan to reopen their economy. And there was a few orders that were announced today. Some government, some statewide orders that are, let's see, the first phase of the executive orders issued today allows for retail to go pickups beginning April, so essentially curbside pickups beginning April 24th, where they're going to be allowed to open stores up and bring goods directly to customers' cars. On Tuesday, they're going to open up or they're going to allow hospitals to start doing some non-essential surgeries, provided they don't deplete the supplies and their ability to fight the virus. And then on Monday, they're going to open up the state parks, provided visitors wear masks and keep a safe distance. And they're going to reassess this, and there may be more openings announced on the 27th. So Texas is the first state to come out and say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to open the economy back up here, or we're going to try to at least. They haven't been hit particularly hard. 17,000
Yeah, I
confirmed
was just going to
cases,
ask you that.
but only 400 deaths. And I say only, obviously that's a lot, but compared to the hotspots, it's not. So comparative to New York, New Jersey, even Michigan, it's not as bad in Texas. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of impact this has, but
Yeah, I mean, I think I mean, here we are. We are the third worst state I think in reported cases and deaths here. You have a lot of people in the auto industry traveling worldwide. So our governor is actually speaking right now. I'm not sure what course she is taking with the restrictions. I mean, you want them to be eased, but you don't want to see an increase, in the rate of the virus. So if they're comfortable that they have it maintained and they're able to move on, then so be it. But what you don't want to see is you don't want to see, a huge ramp up in cases after that. That could set the state of Texas
yeah.
back. But we wishing them well on their reopening of their economy.
Definitely wishing them well, Texas. Our economic hopes depend on you. Don't let us down. I want to get to some tickers from the chat. I want to find out what people are trading and look at them. But before I
Sure.
do that, Joel, you wanted me to look at the banks, right?
Yeah, I did a little note on JP Morgan today is the pre-market prep stock of the day. I don't know if it's out, but just an interesting rebound today. Just noticed that that stock began to made its its all-time high on the second day of the year. And boom, it just was hanging out 137, 138. And then when the market got walloped, it got walloped. Took it down, I believe, under $80. Made a low at 76.91. Rebounded ahead of the report. The other thing I noticed about this is you had some nervous purposes ahead of the report. This closed on Monday, or excuse me, on Friday at 102.76. Monday, they shaved 4.5 bucks off at 98.19, and the selling continued for 3 more days. You bought them yesterday at 87.05. I figured that was just under the 50% retracement. But the bottom fishers are back in picking that stock up today, up a smart $7.64. That's 9%. So JP Morgan, after report, having a great rebound, but it did have a 17-point loss coming from that April 9th high down to that low you had yesterday at 87.05. So nice rebound for that. Wells Fargo, a little bit of a muted move too. That's rebounding off its low, but I thought that that's significant to have that kind of move. So we'll see how that shakes out. JP Morgan still trading right now at the highs of the session.
So that makes you feel better going into next week, or is this just a uh, temporary dead cat bounce?
We'll see. We'll take, let's take half of that. I'd love to see, that 87 to 104, 97, 17, 8.5, 9 point move, see if we get back to 97, 98 and hold and maybe get a chance to take a look at that 104.39 high. That did not come anywhere near its 50% retracement, where you have the overall market well over its 50% retracement as we speak right now. JP Morgan needed to get to 109 on that. So got hit a little bit harder on the way down and not as lively on the way back up, but certainly having a good day here. JP Morgan, as I said, just hit a high at 95.01. Don't really have a
And
daily high for you there, folks. 95.5 was the low after the earnings day. So a lot of people will be looking to get back to scratch if we get up 95.5 today.
and then I also want to look at UNH just to reverse. They fell out of bed at the open.
Uh, UNH, well, what it did is it went up and tested all those highs. Pull up the daily chart of that. I put this in an article too earlier in the week. Multiple highs. I think you had 6, 7 highs above like 302 to 307. And this was back before it fell out of bed. Well, it got back in that area today and got up to 304, but boom, it couldn't hold that 300. The bottom fell out and down 822, but getting back to just, within a tick of its all-time high or a few ticks within its all-time high, someone decided to ring the register there in UNH. Great relative performance. I think I mentioned yesterday that took back half of its move in 3 days. So here we are. We're going to take 350 here in a second. S&P's just made a new intraday high at 59.50. We're backing off here. We should be taking 350 in a second. We do have options expiration, so we could have a little bit bigger buy or sell imbalances. Looks like the traders in the street are looking for some buying balances. We should get a quick burst here, one direction or another. See if it's profit taking here on this Friday, or just buy as market breaks out today. And we are seconds away, trading 28.58, high on the session 59.50. We'll see 65. Boom. Buying balances, folks. You got it. We just hit up 66.75. You just had like a 6, 7 point burst. Looks like we got the momentum going into the close. Just made a new high at 67.75. So that sell off found nothing but buyers this morning. Can we get to that high at 28.85? That's a long way to go. Probably 73.50 might be a level to look at. That was your March 10th high. But we will see. I will go and look from Jonathan Corpina or from Dennis what those actual imbalances are. But I will say 632.5 million to buy. But we'll see how close I am on that.
All right, let's get to some tickers from the chat. I believe it was Aramis who asked us to look at Shake Shack. I have not looked at this one for a hot second. It was in that group of the Chipotle, Wingstop, Shake Shack group of the really unreasonably expensive restaurant stocks. It's obviously not as expensive anymore, but it did have a higher PE there for quite a minute. And wow, it really actually it's kind of held up off those lows.
Yeah, it ain't no wing stop, but certainly having a good day today. Not a bad looking formation here, Ramus. If you're not
Wait,
really
real quick, can I interrupt you? Corpina says 2.5 billion to buy.
oh wow, whoo, okay, I was a little bit wrong on that one.
And then
Okay,
someone else says 4.4 billion to buy. So somewhere between 2.5 and 4.5 billion to buy.
Yeah, maybe Corpina's getting a little bit offset here by some of his some of his customers. But that's why you got the 7, 8, 9 point burst there. We did go up to 28.71 volatile here in the section here. 28.66 currently where we're trading. We just hit a high at 28.71. I'd be interested to see what happened here at 28.7350. That was your March 10th high. Uh,
Back to
I can't
Shake
say
Shack.
anything bad. Yeah, I can't say anything bad about this chart, and I usually can find bad stuff to say. Nice day today, a big reversal. They hit it, it came back. Can't really give you, I'd say 45 kind of would be a breakout area. Maybe let's call it 46 because today's high 44.75, 45.75. I see was a high on Tuesday and 45.28. So this has the characteristics here of a breakout, but like if you have one of those days where it did get over 45 and a half, 46, you like to see it close above it. It ain't no Wingstop. I think Wingstop made a new all-time high today. Right?
I'm not going to
Yeah,
pull that chart up.
you don't just it doesn't justify.
I refuse to pull that chart up. Let's go to Microsoft here. This is one that I have been trying to own. I mean, obviously, I missed my chance. I would have loved to see it fall here. I want a second chance to. I guess I should just buy it. I should just close my eyes and buy it. But Joel, what are your thoughts on Microsoft here?
Microsoft trading up a buck 12 here. Kind of a tight range day. Well, I guess not really. I guess when you have this kind of volatility, hit 180 here. Oh boy, did you feel a gap here? You filled the gap from when things were going really bad. That gap was at 177 and a quarter. Man, oh man, if you're buying this thing here, you're just looking for new all-time highs and beyond. The all-time high 190.70. Don't know if you're going to get a pullback in this. Don't know when they report. Uh, so I don't know. I'd be cautious here, buying it up at this level. If you feel like you absolutely have to own it, maybe put half in and then wait for another pullback, another target on the upside. That day when you gap down, that was on a Monday, February 24th. That Friday, you had a high of 183.50. Generally, a lot of times when you see stocks come back all this way and fill a gap, sometimes they pause here. So little hands off here on the Microsoft buy.
So the other question there is we have to start keeping earnings dates on our radar again. So Microsoft reports on the 29th after the close. I guess he wants to know if he should hold it through earnings, which obviously Joel can't give you
I
specific
can't give
advice,
you investment
but
advice. If what was your original target? Number one. Number two, if you're worried about it and you got some profits, you can always try selling some calls, or if you don't want to get it taken away from you and you got some profits in it, you can do some downside puts. Those are tough to play, but just stick. I would say just stick with your original plan on something like that.
Actually, Joel, speaking of that, I got a tough one for you, or maybe it's not. I don't know. So, I'm not going to ask you specifically about NCGO, but this is an interesting situation. So, NCGO reports earnings on May 6th. That is also the date that marks the 1 year since I bought the stock. So it marks the date where my gains goes from a short term position to a long term position, right? And I get taxed at a different rate. Uh, would you would that be a part of your thought process at all? That the changeover from short term to long term capital gains, or would you just forget that and trade it? How you're going to trade it, and not even think about that?
I wouldn't even think about that.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
mean, is that much of a, with your tax bracket? Is it, are we talking about,
Well, it's 22% versus a 12% tax rate. So
okay.
you
Yeah.
know,
I mean, you might have some losses to offset that, I mean, but no, I mean, you've been in that for
yeah,
a long time. You have a target. Yesterday I talked about it. It was kind of one of those capitulation days, right? Where you went up to 1334. You ended up, we did talk about this one yesterday. And if it
yep.
shook the $12 level, I was looking to drop. It didn't quite get under 11 bucks. Nice rebound here. You didn't get stopped out today?
I almost did, but I
Okay.
didn't.
Yeah. Boy, I wouldn't focus as much as that 1334 high. But boy, I'd like to see it get back over 1233. That's the recent closing high for the move. 1272 was your high for today. So I'd say yesterday was a capitulation day. The stock looks a little bit tired to me, but you have a time before earnings, and
Yeah,
they already said that they're going to be good. So the guy came on CNBC and said they were going to be good. And
yep,
then someone else repeated they were going to be good. And now,
yep.
and now it's the third time. So I don't know if they could rally, the third time on essentially what's the same news. Those buying balances must be being offset here. We did briefly hit 2871. We're back down at 2860. So nice 40-point rally off the lows. It looks like some people are taking profits here ahead of the weekend.
Let's look at Activision Blizzard here, ATVI. We're also going to talk about this on Monday with our guest, Michael Pachter, who's an analyst at Wedbush. He covers the space. But ahead of that, Joel, we'll get your thoughts on ATVI here that I guess is just off the highs from yesterday.
Yeah, non-COVID, a non or COVID play, right? Because everybody's going to be sitting inside,
In,
playing the games.
in theory,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. Uh, I personally, my favorite is Fortnite with Drake. Uh,
You always say
man,
that.
I know I always do. Uh, man, big run here into earnings. Do we have an earnings date for this?
You know what? Let me
I don't
check. We
know.
we probably do. Let's see. Earnings in the pro says ATVI due to reports. Yes, confirmed for May 5th
Oh,
after the
that little ways.
close. Yeah.
Boy, I'd really like to see this thing get to 70. It had that big old red candle. This was back in November of 2018. It made a high that month at 70.29. Made a low for that month at 46.83. Ended the month at 49.88. And then went back under $40. So I would just want this to get back to 70, clear 70. If not, man, you may see some profit taking ahead of that earnings report that's a couple days away.
Let's do one more. Let's do Win. One of our guests on the show this morning, Ross Gerber, said he's long Vegas.
Hmm.
So I good luck to him. I've thought about nibbling an MGM here, but Joel, here's a chart to Win. This one had problems long before this crisis here, but let's take a look at the
What's
chart.
going on in Vegas? I mean, are they open?
No,
I could wait a quarter to buy this one. You
yeah,
know, I mean, have the bottom out bad quarter and then things get turned around. rally off the low of the move, but not commensurate with like what the market's done. This thing has been in a world of hurt since wow, made that all-time high in 14 over 240, and then Mr. Win started putting pressure on this stock. Wow, that was a couple years ago, and it fell hard off that 200 level. So overall, just not a good long-term trend. This does make quick rebounds, but if you want to buy a stock in a company that's, I mean, they have businesses everywhere, but probably the primary part of their business is Las Vegas. I mean, you know, buyer beware on that. Maybe wait another quarter. Hopefully things are resolved and Vegas is back open and everything else is back open. But right now, I'd be cautious on that issue.
All right, 401 main session is closed. Joel, how did we end here?
The Dow ended up 697 points here at 24,234.85. That is well above the high that we had from yesterday. I don't know if yet, no, Tuesday, what was the closing high? Oh, Tuesday was the closing high. So the market, fought off those early sellers, came back. New high for the intraday session. So a good day. S&P is poised to close up 2.7, 2.8%, trading at 2862.50. So quiet week. Well, Monday was quiet. Tuesday you had the rally. Wednesday and Thursday the market just didn't know what the hell to do. But the good news for Gilead, which never came near its pre-market high. People a little bit happy with Boeing. I'm not sure where Boeing ended up the session. So the good news, a lot of the good news was baked in. Boeing's trading strong after the close here. They're above the high. So the good news from those companies carried us higher.
All right, we'll be back on Monday. In the meantime, please remember all the information from this broadcast is meant to be used as informational purposes, not for investing or trading advice. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Have a good weekend. I guess try to get outside, even though where we are in Michigan, it's snowing right now, so maybe we won't do that right now. But everyone have a great weekend. Be safe. We'll talk to you again on Monday.